Welcome everyone to this session, A Quest to Find Vulnerability Land. My name is Estela Baca, and I am happy to share my experience with you, which could be useful for anyone that is looking to find more information about macOS security vulnerabilities. Today's topic was not originally created by thinking about where to find security vulnerabilities. In fact, when I started working on this presentation, the original topic was going to be the difference in exploration on security vulnerabilities that do exist in macOS Big Sur. During my investigation process, I tried to find simple single source repositories with more information about all the known security vulnerabilities for macOS system. This information was going to help you to have a clear view of how Big Sur security vulnerabilities compare to those of previous published macOS version. It was then that I realized that Mac does not have a single stop site for this type of information. For a moment, there was a feeling of confusion, almost like I was being blindfolded while trying to put pieces of a puzzle together to get to vulnerability. First, I was finding blogs and informations in articles that felt like I was moving forward, but still I was running into information walls. I was still moving forward, but it was just blindfolded. Doing some more research and talking to different individuals about their security vulnerability information research and how they approach it, it gave me a sense of almost having a better picture. Then I was still realizing that I found pieces and bits of information that allowed me to see what was happening with the vulnerabilities, but I was still blindfolded while exploring an unknown massive object, exploring it from different angles, but still not able to have a full view and picture. At that point, macOS security vulnerabilities became my elephant. It's still working on having a clear view, but with limited eyesight. During my investigation process and from my experience, this is the link that I use to find vulnerabilities when it comes to Microsoft. The amount of information and the amount of time that it takes to get to the security vulnerability, it's very minimum because all of it is in this page. But what about macOS? When I went to the Mac support page using this specific link, there was some information about the security updates for Big Sur, and this is exactly what I found. Under the security updates, they listed all the security updates, but this was just the last updated in February 2021. It was not really new. One of the things that I noticed is that they listed the CVE ID, identify the OS version, and this is what you need to use to kind of go through the CVE MITRE site. And that's where I had another type of search to do. It took multiple clicks. This was not a very efficient way to find information. I was determined to find a single shop repository. Where do we find that? So I found some other articles, but it still was not a single site or a single source. I found the article in a website called thebleepingcomputer.com. It had some details about an existing issue that has been around for about 10 years. You will think 10 years is a lot, and Macintosh will be up to speed to give us a full picture, but that was not the case. The CVE that I'm referring to is the CVE 2021-3156, but I still didn't have all the information and it was still not a single source. The article quoted in this specific article and in this specific page had a research team that shared their findings via the blog, but this is not what I needed. At this point, I started to wonder, how do organizations find macOS vulnerabilities information? I asked internally and external colleagues about the process that they follow to find this information. What I found is that some companies rely on vulnerability scanner tools to find the information. Some of the tools are Nessus, Burpside, and IBM, among others. We have CrowdStrike Spotlight as a next generation antivirus solution that can also provide some vulnerability inspection visibility to assist with this scanning process, but it is still a tool. But what about the end users? What do? An end user needs to install an application, and this is just an example. What happens if an end user needs to install an application in Big Sur OS, but is not able to completely see what are some of the vulnerabilities and patches that are affecting the components of the OS version? Mac still doesn't have a clear information about this topic. What the user had to do, he had to find different articles and resources to help him understand Big Sur vulnerability patches. If there are tools to obtain the security vulnerabilities, then why do we care about having a single repository? Well, because it will allow us, not only a security company, but also an end user, to have a way to verify vulnerabilities from the OS vendor and not rely on third-party sources. The best resource to find accurate information should come from the OS owner. It is also reliability coming from the official source. We want to full elephant to view Mac, not just the pieces. The information in this slide contains all the resources that you can use while looking for Macintosh security vulnerabilities information and other tools that can help you manage the vulnerabilities. Thank you for your time, and a special thanks to the amazing CrowdStrike team members that traveled with me to the Quest Vulnerability Lab, as well as Ron Baca for sharing his end user experience. Thank you.